Geeky Seekers, I'm Nick. This week is gonna be a little bit of an interesting one. We had a project build that we did right when we started the channel that has had lots of, let's call them, odd comments from hordes of Apple fanboys. So I decided it was time to revisit that premise and show that PCs are still better Macs than real Macs. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button right now and turn on that little bell to receive notifications. We upload basically every single day, so do yourself a big old favor. That's a new one, Claire. Big old favor. And make sure you're subscribed. Before we go down that rabbit hole again, and also because it's Motherboard Monday, I thought we'd check out the motherboard that we'll be using for this project that we're doing later on in the week. We're gonna check out the brand new ASUS ROG STRIX B450-I mini ITX motherboard for all of that mini Ryzen goodness. This video is brought to you by Thermaltake and the Level 20 GT full tower case, featuring support for eATX motherboards, 4 tempered glass panels with a lockable hinged door, the latest I/O port options including USB Type-C and USB 3.0, and support for basically any type of custom water cooling system you could ever possibly imagine. Find out more about the Level 20 GT at the link in the description. Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, rightio. Not only are we going to use this board for the project I mentioned in the intro, but we're also going to use it for a portable editing rig when we're down at PAX. My laptop is more than capable, but I wanted to do it a little bit differently because we've got like a hotel room and like a desk there, so I kind of wanted to have a workstation. And yeah, this is the board that we're also going to use for that system as well. It's time for Motherboard Mondays. We're back again with the ASUS ROG STRIX B450-I. Yeah, that was lame. That was my song. All right, let's get the board out of the way and see what you get for your hard-earned dollary-doos when you buy this motherboard. First thing here is the Wi-Fi antenna. Because I'm using this motherboard and I get to keep it because I bought this one, I'm pulling out the Wi-Fi antenna, which looks like some kind of rune or shard or sharp knife. Right, next up is the I/O shield for seeing all of the things on the back of your computery do. I don't know, I'm just making up words today. I just want to make it fun for you guys. Here is a Corsair link cable, let's call it that. That's for your Corsair Commander. If that's something you're going to install, you can connect it to AuraSync. There are some M.2 screws for M.2 good times because there's 2 M.2 slots. We'll get to that after. There is this guy as well, which is quite nice. This actually allows you to plug one cable into your motherboard, and then on this other end here that I'm showing you, you connect all of the case cables, and it just makes it very, very easy for cable management and really, really easy and fast to build. And I quite like this, and I think every motherboard manufacturer should include these. Next up, what do we got here? This is the quick start guide. It's a guide that helps you get started very quickly. It's a white piece of paper, and for some reason, once again, I'm pointing at ROG STRIX B450-I Gaming. I don't know why I did that. It just, I don't know. I'm dumb. Anyway, here is the installation guide / user manual, and it has a lot of pages in basically every single language that I've ever heard of, not really, and for some reason I thought this was odd that they printed the word motherboard so big. Right, next up are the SATA cables for your hard drives, quite obviously, and these are used for plugging in maximum hard drives, and for some reason I thought it was a good idea to present them in a way that looks like I was doing it in a Danos Direct catalog, which is something very Australian. Next up is this. I don't know what this is. Someone tell me what it is. I don't know what it is. Next up we have these cable ties, and these can be used to be tied around your let's call them your victim's wrists so they don't run away from you. And there is this digital versatile disc which for some reason decided it wanted to spin up and spin out of here. See you, mate. Bye. And this thing that says thank you for choosing this and you've made the choice of champions. I feel like I'm a winner anyway, so thanks for reaffirming that. Right, next up is this page of really shiny stickers. I will never ever use those. Let's get to the motherboard itself. I'm gonna take my time just to annoy you guys. and you can't hear the plastic crackling and crinkling, but it sounds very, very good. Let's take a look at what you get for connectivity. USB 3.0, USB 2.0, 2 SATA connectors. Now there's actually 4 in total on the board. Your front panel connector, also this connector, I don't know what it is, I didn't pay attention, and this 24-pin power connector. Right, you've got your regular RGB, your addressable RGB connector, you've got 2 PWM fan connectors for either AIO or pump or whatnot, another connector for something else, and also another PWM fan connector, as well as the 8-pin CPU power connector. We're going to quickly pop off this heat spreader because this is where one of the M.2 connects. And now you might be wondering, why is it raised up? Well, it's actually a sound card module as well. Something a little bit different that you don't see every day. Now I'm going to install this Team Group M.2 because I will be using this system. So instead of me showing this part in the build guide, here's how you install an M.2 drive. Yeah, I don't know, it's really easy, it's basically one screw. This motherboard supports 2 3466 DDR4 RAM modules in these slots using the DOCP or XMP profile, whatever you want to call it. For any motherboard manufacturer, it's different. And there's also another M.2 slot on the rear of the motherboard, which I will be populating for the build that we do for this system. Yeah, that's right, it'll have 2 M.2s for this configuration. This board has very, very good VRM cooling, and it'll be able to handle any CPU all the way up to the Ryzen 7 2700X, but we're going to be using the 2600. And last but not least is the rear connectivity with HDMI, 4 USB 3.0 connectors, Gigabit Ethernet and USB 3.1 Gen 2, as well as Wi-Fi, and this interesting little light up sound card module, which lights up the ports based on what connector you're using.
I just want you to know that I wasn't there for you. I just want you to know that I wasn't there for you. I just want you to know that I wasn't there for you. I just want you to know that I wasn't there for you. I just want you to know that I wasn't there for you. I just want you to know that I wasn't there for you. I just want you to know that I wasn't there for you.
This board, as far as AM4 Mini ITX boards, sits somewhere in the middle of all of the Mini ITX boards price-wise. It goes for around $155 US reduce, but what you get for that $155 US reduce is actually quite a lot. You get the same, if not more features than a full fat M-ATX or ATX board, but in a tiny little, look at it, it's tiny. You get it in a tiny form factor. I'm pretty impressed with this board, and yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about it. If you're interested in grabbing this board, there is a link down in the description. And like I mentioned earlier, they're going for $155 US reduce. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, tell us what you hated about it and all the other stuff that people do on the internet. Once again, thanks so very much for watching. I'm your big old boy, Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek, and prepare the hordes of Apple fanboys, because we will destroy you all. PC Master Race. 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 PC Master. I'm stuck.